Something wicked this way comes in 1 minute and 50 seconds. Starting now. Okay, so there are these two girls named Jane and Wendy, and they live in Greentown, Illinois. I don't know where the heck that is, but anyway, this carnival comes to town, and Jane's all like, whoa, cool, let's check it out. And Wendy's like, no, I don't like it. And meanwhile, Wendy's dad, Charles, is all like, I'm way too old to be a father. And then Jane and Wendy's old lady friend, named Mrs. Foley, is all like, ooh, I'm gonna go in the mirror maze. And then they're like, no, don't go in the mirror maze, it's creepy. But Miss Foley goes in anyway, and then she freaks out because she saw a younger version of herself drowning, who's all like, I'm real and you're not. And then she's like, ah! And she goes back to her house to calm down. And then Jane and Wendy see Mr. Cougar go on the carousel, and they spin him backwards until he's a little kid. And then he runs to Miss Foley's house to pretend he's her nephew. So Jane and Wendy go over to Miss Foley to warn her, and then Miss Foley sits down for dinner, and Robert runs back into the room, and he smashes the window and pours some jewelry all over the place, so it looks like Jane and Wendy broke into Miss Foley's house. And then he's all like, help, police! And then Mr. Cougar goes back on the carousel to make him really old, and they pump him full of electricity, so he looks like some weird freak. And they squash a lightning rod salesman, and it's all just really weird. And the next day, it's time for the parade. And the parade has unicycles and stilts and hula hoops, and it's really cool. And then when the parade's over, it's time for the world famous bullet trick. And Charles volunteers, and he actually kills the Dust Witch. Oh yeah, and this whole time, Jane and Wendy have been in the library hiding from Mr. Dark. And Mr. Dark finally lures Jane out, and then he kills her. Or something like that. And then Charles finds this little boy who's all like, help me, I'm lost. And Charles is like, no, you're actually Mr. Dark in disguise. And the little boy's like, no, please help me. And then Charles kills him with a hug. And then Charles and Wendy find Jane dead. And Charles is like, hey, let's dance to bring her back to life. And Wendy's like, that won't work. And Charles is like, yes, it will. And then they do dance, and it does bring Jane back to life. And then everyone's happy. And then the end.